Hello, this is Roller, and today I'd like to show you some customizations you can do with FreeBSD. So first, once you've got your VM set up properly, you can actually clone it, so you can make a second one. So if you just hit File, Export Appliance, choose your VM, and it'll save it to your Documents folder, and just choose Next. Then it'll go ahead and it'll create this for you once you hit export. So I've gone ahead and done that already so that we don't have to wait for the export. Once it's exported, you can just hit Import Appliance, and you can come and click on the appliance and choose Open and Next, and then it'll show you the options that you had configured for it. Go ahead and reinitialize the Mac since we're going to be running both at the same time, and just say Import. And that'll go ahead and it shouldn't take too long. It'll just bring in that new machine for you. So while we're waiting for this, we're also going to be doing a couple things today with Digital Ocean. So I'll just show you my Digital Ocean control panel here. Basically, I need to create a new account here, so I'm just going to create a droplet. And I want to do FreeBSD. We'll just choose the top one there. Let's go ahead and just do the standard size $5 a month droplet. And what we're going to want to enable here, first I'm going to just choose the one closest to me, and then I want to enable private networking. So because we're going to be using that a little bit later. So I'll add my SSH key, and let's give it a host name. So I'm just going to call this one PFSense. So I'm going to show you how to set that up. Next, I want to create another droplet. And we're going to use this one to talk to the PFSense. So let's do the same, $5 a month. Same data center, private networking, and let's just call this one FreeBSD. That's fine. Okay, let's go click on this here. Okay. So here we go. We want to log into this one, so let's see if we can just use this remote console here. Awesome. Let's log in as root. Or let's see. Probably in the documentation on what we should do there. Let's just go ahead and log into the shell. Since we have that account set up, it's much easier to just deal with that. So let me get a new window here, and we'll just SSH into this droplet. So let me copy that IP address. We'll SSH as FreeBSD into that machine there. Sure. Okay, now we're in. So let's go ahead and switch to root here. Okay, now we're root. So we want to get the latest PFSense installer file, so we'll get it from I have a link here. So if you look at pfsense.org mir, you can look for the latest release, which it says right here is 2.4.3, and then we want the gzip version. So let's see. Let's get the memstick 2.4.3 release. This one, I believe that's the right one. Let's see. The one right above it. That's just the checksum, and then this is the file. So let's get the file. And then let's also get just the link to the file. So we'll copy the link address. And then we'll come back here and we'll just type curl minus capital O and then paste that link in there. So that'll download it to our droplet. Awesome. Okay. Then we can just type swap off minus minus A, and then we can type syscontrol kern geom debug flags equals 0 x10. Okay. And now we're going to type gnzip minus C and then the PFSense file that we got. Then we're going to pipe that into DD, and the output file is going to be the disk. So VTBD0 is the disk on DigitalOcean. And the byte size is going to be 512. Okay. Okay, now we can just init 6, and that'll reboot the machine for us. Cool. So now we'll give it a second to reboot. We can check our console here, see what's going on. Okay. I'll just close that page and come back to it. Alrighty, looks like it decided to. Let's just try loading up the website again. Get that console back, and there we are. So let's go ahead and accept, and let's decide to do the rescue shell. So in the rescue shell, you just type gpart recover VTBD0, and then exit. And then we'll go through the install. We'll continue with the defaults. When we get, we'll do manual here on the partitioning. So we're going to highlight and delete P1 by pushing D. We'll delete P2, and we'll delete P4. Then we're going to go ahead and create with C. Okay, so leave the options alone. These are all fine, but we want to get in there and change the settings. So there we go. Let's do mount point is just slash. That's basically what we wanted to do. So now we just push enter, and you can go ahead and say yes to the boot prompt, and then finish. And now commit. So we'll say no here, and we'll reboot. Well, I can close this and we can come back to it in a minute. Also, we're going to need the networking screen up so we can see what the network settings are. Sorry about this. Looks like it just crashed again. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go see if we can get this to refresh. Alright, let's try that again. Let's go back to DigitalOcean, choose login, go to our PFSense screen, go to our networking, and here's what we need to look at. So let's launch our console again. I'm just going to scoot this to another screen so I can read it. Alright, no VLANs, we're good. So the WAN interface is VTNet0. let's see, enter the LAN interface name, so VTNet1. Does that look correct? We got WAN is 0 and LAN is 1. Yes. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and get the other machine ready, because we're going to need to access the LAN interface here soon. That way we can see the admin screen, so I'll show you how to do that. So we go back to our DigitalOcean screen here. We should be able to see our connection details for our other droplet, this one. So we'll just copy that. Looks good. Okay, now we're going to go to add user, add roller, add to the wheel group, set TCSH. Oops. Okay, add the user. Now we're going to go to vi sudo. We're going to go edit the wheel spot. Okay, now that we've got that file edited, we can do package install xorg, and then we also want Firefox. Okay, let's go check on our other one while we wait for that. So let's just go relaunch that console window. Awesome. here's what we're going to do. Come in here and let's set up the interfaces. So I want to, what number? Number 2. And I want to change 1 here. Variable no on the DHCP. And here's our networking settings. So just copy the settings that are on your control panel. Oh, whoops, don't push enter too early. So let's figure out what your subnet mask is. If, let's see, pretty sure I'm using, let me double check. Yeah, make sure we get this right. Oh, where'd our screen go? Crap. Okay, yeah, sometimes their screen will go away there, unfortunately. So give me a second to find out what this bit number is, just to make sure I do the right one. So it's a 20. And then let's go ahead and bring back up our console. So this should be 20. And just to double check that on my thing, the other two, so a 255.255.0.0 is 16. Yep, that's correct. And then the other one is, yeah, okay, cool. So it's 20. Okay, and then we'll use the gateway here, which is that's the gateway we were given. We'll say no. say enter for none. No reason to do that. Great. We'll continue. We'll do that again. This time we'll pick the LAN. Okay, so what do we want for the LAN? Well, I like to do just pick a number here, so I'll just say like 28. So for my subnet bit count, it's going to be 27. So I don't need that many hosts on my network. So for the gateway, we'll just do enter for none here. We'll do enter here as well. If you want to enable the DHCP server, but in our case, I don't see a reason to. I mean, I guess if we want it to be PFSense, that's fine. But you know what machines are really going to be connecting to this? Yeah. Sure. Alrighty. So now it's just telling us the web configurators on the IP address, just waiting for us. It's fine. Now, we'll just wait, but we might need to change some settings depending on how everything goes, but let's just see. So, let's close this out. This is almost done, which is good. While we're waiting for this, we can go on to doing the Plex. So let's turn on a computer here. And I'll just show you real quickly how we can get a Plex Media Server installed. The cool thing about Plex is you can use it to do your media. Some people will get an HDTV antenna and then get one of these HD home run tuners to capture the stuff, and then they can save it on their NAS, and you can use Plex Media Server to stream the stuff. So, or just any content that you already have saved, you can stream it. Okay, so here we are. We can come and open up our command prompt. And we'll just go package install Plex Media Server. Okay, 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that. Type your password right. Then it will install. And then you just go sudo sysrc. Cool, and they actually gave us the command, so if you just highlight the command, you can use your middle mouse button and click, and I'll type that for you. And then we just type sudo, click that as well, that'll start it. And then now we can go here. Or you just say open link with Firefox. Yes. There you go. Now you've got a Plex Media Server running, and it'll just ask you to go through the setup, which just wants you to sign in first. So go ahead and sign in, and then you can set up your Plex account and get your media server running. Okay, now let's go see how far along we are here. So it's got all the files, now it's just installing them, which is good. Cool, so hopefully this will be done soon. One thing we can do real quick, I guess while we wait, I can show you. Here's the VM that we copied, so I can show you that that works. Cool, so yeah, that booted right up, and even with the different MAC address, everything, it just worked perfectly fine. Yeah, it looks like we're getting to the end here. Awesome. So now that we have this running, let's go ahead and show you the trick. So if I go to a new tab, or I can just leave this by typing Control D, and back to my computer. Basically the trick is, once you're on the machine that you want to be on, you can type a command to on a FreeBSD machine. So you could do it from this running FreeBSD machine. You would just need to copy your SSH key into there. Since I already have mine on this machine, I'll just use this FreeBSD machine. But basically you just SSH into the machine, but you type those two capital letters. That'll let you do some tricks. So now that I'm logged into the machine, I can just type Firefox and then and in a minute Firefox should be started on my droplet, but it'll open up on this computer. Crazy, huh? So yeah, this is Firefox, but it's Firefox from a different computer. So what we can do here is I can just type in the IP address, the private IP address of my PFSense box. And it should just pop up here. And if it doesn't pop up right away, then we probably just need to change the settings on that box real quick. Which I believe we do. I set it up like the LAN, I set it up how I usually set up my LAN, but I'm pretty sure in this scenario we'd want to set up the LAN to be the private network address that was given to us by DigitalOcean actually. So let's do that. So let's set it up to be and then yeah, we'll do the 16 here. Okay. Okay, now the configurator should be at that interface. So let's go ahead and try that. Cool. So 10, 138, 20, 185. 10, 138, 20, 185. And we'll type in, just in case, we'll run it in both of them. One with HTTPS to make sure. I'm pretty sure if you do HTTP it'll jump you to HTTPS, but we'll just check here. Weird. Let's try that again. So let's go ahead and try something else here. Well, here, let me just cancel out of here. Let's go to this machine. We'll try it in here. Oh, you know what the issue was? Well, anyways, it should work this time. So let's just go in here. Okay, here I want to SSH roller. And we'll just type Firefox and so we'll give that a sec to open. Okay, so Firefox didn't work. That was the problem. So we'll actually just do let's install prodzilla. It's more of a lightweight browser, which will probably work better for this type of remote X situation that we're doing. What we're doing is called remote X. It's where you use the Xorg to send what would be the local application, but you just display it on a remote desktop. So I mean, SSH supports that with its capital C for compression, but capital Y is what does the X11 forwarding. Cool, so let's give that a minute. Over here, I can show you, there is a file that we can edit for getting, we want to get, basically, let's log into root real quick. We want to edit a file called login.conf, so we can enable UTF-8 support. So if we come down here, and we just come to the end of this line, and we append a new character. Let's do, we want to add two things. We want to say the character set is UTF-8, and the language is this. Whenever you make changes to that file, you need to run this command to update the database. Cool. So now we have UTF-8 support enabled, which is good. I can show you what that's good for in a little bit. There's some commands and programs that like to use UTF-8, so it's good to have it enabled. Especially with Python, there's a new installer for virtual environments called pipenv for installing packages, so that uses UTF-8. So you definitely need that first before you install your Python tools. Okay, so we can go ahead and type prodzilla and so now a browser should pop up on our computer here. If it's going to keep complaining about that dbus, we can just do that real quick. So if we just type uuid dbus uuid gen, it gives us that. So if we just pipe that into etc machine ID, that'll stop complaining. Okay, so here it is. Here is a browser, but it's running from the droplet, so we can actually talk on the private network, which is 10.138.20.185. Yes, that's fine. And here's our PFSense box. So if we just say admin PFSense, then we're in. So let's give it a name. So PFSense, the domain. If you have one, I do. I'm going to just use lab.bsd.pw. Okay, which we already set this up, so we shouldn't have to do anything here. Shouldn't have to do anything here. Okay, now we have to set up a password. Okay. We'll hit reload here. Awesome. So there's a few things that we want to set up. First, I want to set up a dynamic DNS. So I'll say add. Service type, I'll choose Google domains. So I want it to be pfsense.lab.bsd.pw. So the way you do that is you would just go to your if you have Google domains, you just go to Google domains. You can come down here to dynamic DNS and just say pfsense.lab. Then you can say view credentials. That'll give you a username and a password. So I'm going to go ahead and type those in. Oops, okay, well, now I'm going to type that in. Okay, make sure you type that correctly. So let me make sure this is correct. XFL1ZKDST. Yeah, that's right. So I must have typed this wrong. Cool. So that will make sure our IP address goes to there. Cool. Next we're going to come over here to the VPN tab. Well, first actually you want to go to the cert manager. So before you can make a VPN you need an internal CA. So since it's our own internal CA, we can actually just use whatever we want here. So one moment. So I'm just going to create one specifically for my OpenVPN server. So, let's see. We want to create a new CA. So we can just put I just put Planet Earth here because it doesn't really matter what you put. The email address, you know. So for the common name, on your CA, it doesn't, it's not too big a deal what you put there. So I can just call it OpenVPN 0 is usually what I would call it. Just the same as the name. And then you want to come to certificate. And you want a certificate here. So we'll just say add. And we want to create an internal certificate. And we'll just call it OpenVPN 0 server for that OpenVPN certificate. It already picked our certificate authority of OpenVPN 0, which is good. And it pre-filled some settings here, which is fine. There is a section where it's going to ask you about the certificate, if it's a server or not. So you're going to want to say yes, it is a server certificate. Here you can also type the same as the common name. We'll put server here instead of user. And for the alternative names, I believe we don't. So it just wants the host name, so we can just type in the host name that we're going to use here, which is pfsense.lab.bsd.pw. I can just say save. Okay, now that we have a couple certificates, we can go ahead and actually do the server. So if you go to VPN, OpenVPN, we can create a new server. And we want a remote access server. And we'll use SSL user auth. So we'll just say local database is fine. That's fine. Just keep the defaults on a lot of this. We can just say remote access and it's going to ask which certificate authority. We want to just use the one we created, the OpenVPN 0 one. For server for certificate, you want to pick the server certificate we just made. So OpenVPN server. You can keep the defaults. On the encryption algorithm, you can go ahead and bump that up to AES 256 CBC. Let's see. If you have hardware crypto, you could select it here, but I don't think we do on this one. Go ahead and check that. Here's where you can set a, so this is where you can set up a network that you want to use. I can just set it up like this. If there was a local network you wanted it to be able to talk to, you could just put the network here. We don't really need to do that in this case, but if you want to, you can put the private address of your LAN, the private network address here. So that was 10. 138, 20, 185, and that was a 16. They'll just make it so if there's something on that network you could see it. We'll just omit a preference because they have really good defaults here on that. So these settings right here, this one is pretty cool. Basically, if two people are connected to the VPN, then they'll be able to talk to each other if you check this box. That's fine. That's fine. Now, this is if you had a DNS here. So we'll have to set up DNS. We'll make sure that it's working. Cool. And save. So, something that you'd want to do now is go to the packages here. And available packages. So I guess we'll first need to get our DNS working. So let's go to DNS. And it says it's working on all interfaces. Yeah, it looks like it's already set up, so that shouldn't be the issue. Okay. Well, we should be able to install packages. That's kind of weird. Let's see if we can check for updates. Oh, accept. Maybe that's what it was. And there's an update. So let's go ahead and do the update. That must be why we can't see the packages, because we don't have the latest version. Cool. While we wait for that to update, let's install Python and get that working. So, Python's pretty cool. To get it working, you can just first just type sudo python 3.6. There's a module called ensure pip. And then now you want to upgrade pip, so then we can use pip to install pipenv, which is the new command. Okay, so say we had a project, you know, some Python project, and it needed some packages installed, like it. So what you would do is you could just type pipenv install requests. So in this case, there is another way. So I'll just show you. The Etsy login.conf didn't seem to work, so we'll just do this other way, which is you can vim login conf and you can just uncomment that. So we'll just change a couple of these. So we'll just say UTF-8, and then in lang here we'll say so let's try our pipenv install requests again. So I believe we're just going to have to, probably just because we need to restart the shell, so let's just try using a different shell for now, so it reloads that configuration. So okay, well, I did set it up to use UTF-8, but it doesn't look like. Oh yeah, no, it's still at C and everything. Maybe we need to restart to get that one to work. We'll have to come back to this. So it's like our update has failed. Okay. Well, our packages are loading now, so let's just do that. So there's a package in here called OpenVPN client export right here. So we want that. Okay. Now, if we go to our OpenVPN, we'll see there's this client export, and it selected that. That's fine. Let me double check. So let's put the DNS address that we added there. We'll run that so 2 clients can run concurrently. And I'll just save those as the default settings. And then down here at the bottom, you can see that there's all these different options for downloading the client. So let me see. Oh, it's because we need to add a user. So let's go to the system and add some users. Oh yeah, so I'll just add a roller. So we'll just create a certificate here. Say save. Then I can come over back to this place. And I can say client export. And you'll see there's a roller here. And right here, so you have inline configuration, bundle configuration. So I want to get this bundle. Let's see what's in it. So let's click archive. We'll save. And I'll just unzip that. I believe I saved that in my home directory. Oh yeah, but that probably saved it in the home directory of my virtual machine. So we're going to need to pull that off of there. So if we just do sftp roller at, and then we need the IP address again. So then we just type, yeah, there it is. So if we just say get PFSense and we quit, there it is. So we can unzip that, and there are some files. So if you see, we've got our VPN file, our TLS key, our user P12, so let's see. So we can use these files basically to connect to OpenVPN. Alright. We could also double check over here. They do have this client. Yeah, but this isn't what we want. So this will basically just run us through something. So this will work now to connect a computer through the VPN. So what I usually do is I use my Android to connect. So if you client export and you just click the Android one, you just open this file in Android. The inline, this Android one will work with OpenVPN Connect. Then you've got your VPN set up. But on FreeBSD, you would just need to configure these inside of. There is a client on FreeBSD for for OpenVPN. But it's just getting it to work is the trick, right? I do have a guide that's helping me set that up, but it looks like they're using different keys parameters. So I'll look into this, but at least got you this far. So I've got you to the point where you have your VPN set up. So we're going to restart this machine to see if we can get that Python stuff to work. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in again. We'll and that's what it's supposed to do. So pipenv will just go in there and install your package for you. Cool. And you just run this command here, pipenv shell, and there you go. Now this, you're inside a virtual environment where when you just type Python, it knows that you mean Python 3 because that's what it did. It set it all up for you, and if you import request, there you go. You've got it. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, now you can just follow any normal Python tutorials here, and that's how you'd get packages installed and running inside of there. So another thing we can do is there's this package called Hugo. I believe it's just called Hugo on the ports, so we'll just double check. Yep, there it is. So really what you just, once you have it, you can double check it by just saying Hugo version make sure that it's working. I don't know why it said all that. Let's see, what is... Maybe this is a different Hugo. Let's say package search Hugo. Okay, so I just installed PC Engine, but we want this one, Go Hugo. So let's just say Go Hugo, and then we will remove that Hugo. Okay. Anyways, we'll just ignore that. So there we go. So Hugo's working. So maybe just say Hugo new site, and we'll just call this just like the tutorial quick start. So if we just cd into quick start, there's our little site. We can type Hugo server to run a server, which is on localhost 1313. So if we just open that, we should see that we just have a mostly blank site here. So if we want to actually, create some content, we can go ahead and do that. So what you really want to do is get like a theme and a post going. So I don't know if we even have Git in here now. So we can just go ahead and do let's just try making, basically we want to get a theme first, so let's grab Git real quick. Now that we've got Git, we can do Git init. Then we can do Git sub module add. So it's an AND key. And then if we go into, we can just say echo theme equals an key. I'll throw that into config.toml. So now if we do a Hugo new posts, we can edit that file. So now we can just say Hugo server again. And we've got a website with a post. And you can read about it. So that's pretty cool. So you've got yourself a website going. Basically, what you'd want to do now is to get your website working. There's different ways that you can post your website, but this will just help you at least get started on building it. So thank you for watching and have a great day. I believe we've I've taught you how to clone a VM, install a VPN, set up Python, and get Plex running, so we will just call it a day there. Thank you and have a great day.